This is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster, and this is a review of The Greatest Showman, the P.T. Barnum movie. And yeah, it was sort of a cross between La La Land and Les Miserables. Because it had Hugh Jackman in it, who really should get a nod for Best Actor. However, the movie is okay. It's fine. It's wholesome enough, I guess. There's controversy concerning P.T. Barnum, of course, none of which is... This is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster, and this is a review of P.T. Barnum movie, The Greatest Showman. This is my fourth attempt to literally start this review. Hopefully this time it actually works. It should get an Oscar nod for Hugh Jackman for actor, but the rest of it is just okay. It's based on the life loosely on P.T. Barnum, the Carnival Barker of Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus, and the museum and all that stuff. This is before Barnum and Bailey, though. This is several, 20 years before that. It's the origin story of him, I guess. He was a showman character in New York. Actually started in Connecticut, but in the story it's New York. They're near each other state-wise. It's not like in the West. New England, all those New England states are near each other. They're really close together. Rhode Island is no bigger than Milpitas, but it's a whole state. But yeah, maybe it's a little bigger, but only a little. So in Connecticut and New England, New York, kind of thing. It was sort of a cross between Les Miserables and La La Land, sort of a musical adventure showman thing. There was Queen Victoria was in it, and there was a Swedish singer in it. There was a alleged scandal in it and all that, and then there was another alleged scandal with the character that was Zac Efron was playing, in which he was dating the black trapeze artist. These two scandals are interesting, though, because of all the other scandals about, mistreatment of animals and stuff like that, that later closed down the Barnum and Bailey Circus a year ago, which is still going on for over 100 years, the circus. This was way after he died, so it wasn't him. The two scandals in this movie did not happen. Historically, he did not fall for the singer lady, and then she smitten for him and broke it off. That did not happen. There was no picture of them kissing or anything. They put that in the movie. That did not actually happen. Also, he did not say there's a sucker born every minute, but he was attributed to it. Although other showman-type people said it at the same time, so it was an honest mistake to say it was attributed to P.T. Barnum. And some websites claimed that the sucker thing doesn't really mean something bad, but yeah, it kind of did. Mark Twain might have also said something similar. Same time period, roughly. The Victorian era, yes. And the other thing that was not in the movie, Zac Efron's character. He was not there, and the black trapeze artist was not there. These are people that were made up for the movie to be in the movie. And the singer lady wasn't smitten for him, so she just quit because she wanted to quit. Yeah. They could infer something happened, but no, the movie it's not an accurate documentary of P.T. Barnum. It's a fictional Hollywood version. So come on, stay there. Anyway, P.T. Barnum. I don't know. The X-Files did a thing on freaks and circus things and stuff like that, in which they attributed it to him in the 90s. But that's the X-Files. It was kind of a freak show there anyway too. So he liked the idea of different people and freaks and stuff, and abnormalities and mutants and things like that. Another thing that they changed in the movie was that the shortest man person was actually there as it was one of his relatives. It was like a cousin or something, and he knew him since he was a kid. So it wasn't like he never knew him. He knew him. He knew of him from So some of that stuff is changed in the movie. Also, I don't think that in real life they had the bearded lady sticking up for herself and making a rousing sticking up for yourself song about it. I don't think that actually happened. With well, of course the songs didn't really happen. They're not from the movie. They made it like a High School Musical, but with throwing in P.T. Barnum in there, sort of an early version of that idea. The idea of just singing and dancing and breaking out into song in the middle of the movie, where it really didn't happen that way, but so sure, why not? He never had any affairs with other women. It is odd that in P.T. Barnum's obituary it says like ex-wife, although, and then he had another wife, but actually she died. So it wasn't his ex-wife; she was his widow. I don't know why even the paper back in the 1800s, which you can read online, they kept a copy of it. Is this ex-wife? No, she wasn't. No. She died, and then he lived on and married someone else. So yeah, he's a widower. So yeah. And he had 4 kids. One of them died, though, young, and the other 3 lived on, and their descendants, I assume, signed off on the movie 150 years later, 160 years later. Anyway, so yeah, they didn't mention much about him at the end of the movie, which was odd. There would have been a title card saying something to the effect of they went on to become the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus. It went on to become the greatest show on earth as their tagline. It kept going until the year 2017. They didn't say that at the end of the movie. Why didn't they say that? That's fairly remarkable. They should have. I mean, it wasn't a documentary, but why not say that? It's like, why didn't they put that in there? It's the circus. Like when I went to the little local circus Chimera thing, which was about as close as I got, and there was the inspiration for Chimera, and that was sort of a mini version of Cirque du Soleil and Circus Ringling Brothers. That went down and stopped happening in 2007. Apparently, right after I saw them, a year later, or so, a year and a half later. Anyway, yeah, circuses are interesting. Circus people are interesting. Yes. Yes, the trapeze artist lady was not in the movie. There was a trapeze artist, but it wasn't. Yeah, she wasn't dating the guy. The aristocracy stuff, that's fairly accurate. Very Great Gatsby-like, same time period. Well, Gatsby was a little later, the 20s, but this was the beginning of that. So, this was the 1800s, before the Wild West. A little before the Wild West, and then during. But it was back east, so it was not as wild. And out west into the frontier and all that. Yeah, and some of the singing was clearly dubbed. There were a couple of songs in there where the lady clearly wasn't the person doing the singing wasn't doing it. A couple of them. There was one of the Jackman songs wasn't him, because you can tell he's got a very distinct voice. He's not really a epic singer. He's Wolverine, you know. He's okay. He's fine. When they brought out the other lady, the main singer, they clearly dubbed her from the actual other singer lady who was there, which is odd. But sure, it was fine. It was fine. Oscar for Hugh Jackman, but not Best Picture. No. Best Picture was still Wonder Woman. So yeah, it wasn't Thor Ragnarok as a third sequel. Yeah, so yeah, we haven't had the Oscars yet, but most of the Oscar movies this year are movies that no one's heard of. That's happened yet again. They did bring them out on wide release, a bunch of them, but Darkest Hours is now out of theaters. Dunkirk's on video, on DVD and Blu-ray, which is probably your best picture drama right there, Dunkirk. Yeah, and then you have your Marvel movies and action movies and things. Blade Runner 2049 and that kind of thing was not nominated. I think special effects maybe. Yes, and I keep forgetting it's the Oscars that Star Trek was nominated many years ago. Before the Abrams movies, or else I remember when they said, "Oh, the Abrams movie was the first one to get like an Oscar for like sound effects or something or editing and whatever." I was going, wait a minute, do you guys remember like 1979 or so when Star Trek: The Motion Picture won for special effects, sound editing? So it did happen once before, 30 years earlier. But okay, but yeah, so very similar. I think sound effect. Yeah, sound. But yeah, so, and makeup. No, the other one run for makeup. Anyway, so yeah, didn't see the previews. And everybody's making fun of the 50 Shades of Grey 3. I'm not going to see it. No 50 Shades of Grey 3. And yeah, not going to see 1517 to Paris. Looks really bad. I saw Sully last year. That was enough. I had enough Clint Eastwood movies for a while. I'll go watch some of his classic movies instead. Because yeah, they were better. Anyway, so that's my review of P.T. Barnum the movie. P.T. Barnum the show movie that isn't technically about him. It's sort of, here's a guy that looks like him a little and is acting like him. Him and his wife were kind of homely, and they got an actress who playing his wife who is hot, and that isn't what she looked like. It's like, she looked more like the character that was playing Queen Victoria. But yeah, oddly enough, dressed like the picture, that Queen Victoria picture, even though it's like she didn't always dress like that. Come on. And Napoleon wasn't actually short. The detractors, after he was gone, they mentioned Napoleon, said, "Oh, he's a short little guy." Ah, they were making, and that somehow stuck, even though most French people of that time period were not very tall. They just decided, "Oh, look, he's short." Oh. It's like, no, he was just about average for his time period. Yeah. So anyway, the bearded lady, the circus characters.